If today you feel like money slips through your fingers like water, it's not bad luck. It's an invisible leak. In seconds, I'll show you where it is. And stay with me, because tip number 7 is the one almost nobody can handle. And that's why they stay stuck. Right now, picture this. You open your banking app. You see the deposit. For 1 second, you feel relief. And then, like someone turns off a light, the anxiety comes back. Because you already know what's next. Bills, pending payments. Just today, I deserve it, I'll fix it tomorrow. And when you finally look up, the money is gone. It didn't walk away, it evaporated. And the worst part is, you don't even know the exact moment it happened. That feeling chasing money like it's a living thing slipping out of your hands, this isn't a math problem. It's a direction problem. And that's great news, because when the problem is direction, it's not fixed by luck. It's fixed by a simple decision you can make today. Before we continue, do something quick, really quick. If you've ever watched your money disappear without understanding how, write one word in the comments. Leak. Just leak. I want to see how many of us are fighting the same battle, because once you put it into words, you stop carrying it alone. Look, some people think money runs away because that's just life. Others think it runs away because they weren't born for this. Others blame themselves and say harsh things. But there's a truth almost nobody wants to hear because it stings. Money usually doesn't run away from you. You push it away without realizing it. Not because you're bad, not because you're stupid, but because nobody taught you how to spot the leaks. And here's the powerful part. There are pieces of advice so old they've survived thousands of years because they describe humans with a scary precision. Advice that doesn't depend on the era or a country, or whether you earn little or a lot. They're principles, and when you apply a principle, money stops being a daily fight and becomes a calm, obedient, useful, steady. Today, I'm going to show you these principles like a surgery. We're going to open up the place your future is leaking from, and we're going to close the leaks one by one. Not with speeches, with simple actions. Steps you can do even if today you're at zero. But I'll warn you right now, some of these tips feel comfortable because they sound reasonable, and others will make you uncomfortable, especially number 7. That's the point where your ego will want to skip the video. Right there is where it's decided whether your money keeps running or finally stays with you. Let's hit the first one. No fluff. There's a leak that steals your future and then charges you interest. It has no compassion. It doesn't negotiate. It shows up as a solution when you're desperate, but then it forces you to work for your past. That leak is debt for things that build nothing. Think about it like this. When you borrow for something that produces nothing, you're buying today's pleasure with tomorrow's paycheck. And tomorrow you wake up with less freedom, less air, less movement, like someone put an invisible chain around your ankle. You can walk, yes, but you feel the pull. Solomon said it in a line that never gets old. The borrower becomes a slave to the lender, not because someone shows up with a whip. No, because your mind switches into payment mode. And when your mind is in payment mode, it stops thinking about growth. Now, I'm not going to sell you the fantasy of never used debt. Some debt can build something if it's well thought out. But we're talking about the real leak. Debt to impress, debt to calm anxiety, debt to fill silence. Do this today. Grab a sheet of paper or your notes app. Write down all your debts if you feel ashamed. Don't fight yourself. Just look at them. Now, next to each one, write a short sentence. This takes away my freedom. That line is simple, but it changes everything. Because starting today, every time you're about to go into debt for something unnecessary, it won't be just a purchase, it'll be an exchange. Do I want this thing, or do I want freedom? And if right now you have cards and you feel them pulling you like a magnet, do one small, brutally effective action. Put the card somewhere inconvenient, not within reach. Discomfort is protection. Sometimes your future only needs a few extra seconds for your impulse to cool down. Because yes, money runs away more from impulses than from lack of intelligence. And that takes us to the second leak, wasteful spending. The spending that doesn't feel like spending because it's disguised as a reward. There's a quiet trap. You work hard, your body knows it, your mind knows it, and then you tell yourself, I earned it. And look, treating yourself isn't the problem. The problem is turning treats into the language you use to talk to yourself when you're retired, sad, or stressed. Because then money stops being a tool and becomes anesthesia. Here's something that hurts, but sets you free. If you pay for every difficult emotion with money, your bank account becomes your therapy. and it's ridiculously expensive. Do this today. Set one rule, just one, that you can follow without failing. The 24-hour rule. If you want it and you don't need it, you wait one day, and the next day you ask again, does this build me or distract me? You don't need infinite willpower. You just need time. And here's the detail most people ignore. Wise people aren't the ones who never spend. They're the ones who know how to stop in time, the ones who respect their limits. Now, while I'm saying this, you might be thinking, okay, so I won't go into debt and I won't waste money, but I'm still tired. It's still hard to move forward. Good, that's the third leak. And it's cruel because it doesn't feel like a leak. It feels like normal life. The leak of oversleeping, of laziness disguised as I have no energy, of postponing what you know would change your life. I'm not going to humiliate you with cheap motivational quotes. I'm going to describe something real. When you procrastinate, you pay an invisible tax. Every day you don't do what you must do, you build up a debt to yourself, and that debt is heavy. It steals your drive, it steals your clarity. And when you don't have clarity, money gets confused, messy, and it leaves. Solomon said it plainly. If you love sleep too much, you become poor, not because sleep is bad, but because there's a difference between rest and escape. You rest to come back stronger. You escape so you don't have to face yourself. Do this today. Choose one thing you'll do every day for 7 days. If it's small, it could be send one message for a job, make one call, learn something for 20 minutes, organize your spending for 10 minutes. One thing. What matters isn't the size, it's the continuity, because continuity creates identity. But those fantasies usually leave you with one thing: poverty of time and poverty of focus. Do this today. Answer this question with brutal honesty. What can I do well, even when I'm tired? That's a clue. Maybe you're good at selling, organizing, cooking, teaching, making videos, fixing things, designing, talking to people. Don't minimize it. People who are poor in money are often rich in skill, but they don't work their field. Now here's a simple action that changes the game. Choose one field for the next 30 days. 1, not 10. 1. Because focus is a doorway. If you try to walk through 10 doors at the same time, you get stuck outside all of them. For the next 30 days, every day, take one small step in that field. And if today you're thinking, but I need money right now, that's exactly why. Because your way out isn't a stroke of luck. Your way out is building something that doesn't break after one bad month. Now we reach a point where many people get it wrong. They say, okay, I'm working, I'm spending less, I'm borrowing less, so why do I still feel like it's never enough? Here comes the fifth leak. And this one is powerful because it is uncomfortable for one reason. It forces you to look. Solomon said, know the condition of your flocks. In other words, look at what you have, look at what comes in, look at what goes out. Because the money you don't look at leaves, not because money is evil, but because neglect is a hole. Here's something that changes your mind. Money loves clarity, and clarity isn't a feeling, it's a habit. Do this today, for 7 days. Write down every expense, not to punish yourself, to see yourself, because you can't change what you can't see. And if you don't want to complicate it, do it in the simplest way in the world. Divide your spending into 4 mental drawers: basics to live, debt payments, savings, and treats, fun spending. Just that. For every time you spend, drop it into one of those 4. And suddenly something happens. You start to recognize yourself. You notice patterns. You realize your money wasn't leaving because of big things, but because of many small things that together became an avalanche. And when you have that clarity, something almost magical happens. Except it's not magic. Your money stops running because it can't escape silently anymore. Now, if this is clicking for you, stay close, because what's next separates the survivors from the builders. Good sixth principle. This is where many people get confused. They say, okay, I'm organized, I know what goes out, I stopped wasting money, so now I'm going to save everything and never touch it again. And it sounds responsible. But if you do it with no strategy, there's another leak. Money that sits still becomes weak money. Solomon used an image where there are no oxen. The manger is clean, but nothing grows. Translated to your life, if you keep everything clean and still, without moving it, without putting it to work, your life stalls. I'm not going to tell you. Invest in complicated things. First, understand the idea. You have to spend to produce. Not spend on impulse, spend with purpose. And what's the safest investment when you're starting? Your capacity, your field. Because if your skill grows, your income can grow. And if your income grows but you don't close the leaks, money still runs away. That's why order comes first. Do this today. Choose one thing that increases your value in 30 days. It could be a cheap course, learning to sell better, practicing a skill, improving your resume, learning how to offer a service. One thing, and here's a rule to avoid self-deception. If you're going to invest, let it be something you can use this same week, not someday. This week. What you don't use becomes a fantasy. Up to this point, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Debt, spending, laziness, focus, clarity, investing. Where's the invisible leak you talked about at the beginning? Here it comes. And this is where most people leave. Because what I'm about to say doesn't just touch your wallet. It touches your identity. It touches your pride. It touches your need to be seen. And that's why this is tip number 7, the one almost nobody can handle. The invisible leak is living above your means, even if you swear you're not. And listen, living above your means doesn't always mean mansions and expensive cars. Sometimes it's something more common and more dangerous. Trying to look good, trying to seem stable, trying to prove you're moving up, while inside you're barely holding on. That leak has a voice, and the voice says things like, if you don't buy it, you look broke. If you don't dress like that, they won't respect you. If you don't give that impression, they won't take you seriously. If you don't follow the trend, you fall behind. If you don't show progress, people win. And when that voice is in control, your money doesn't obey you. Your money obeys other people's opinions. That is silent slavery. Let me ask you a question that can change your life. How many things have you bought just so someone would think something about you? Because that's where the leak is, not in the spending, in the reason for the spending. Solomon spoke about 2 kinds of people. The one who pretends to be rich and has nothing, and the one who looks simple but stores up wealth. What was he saying? Money is lost more through appearances than through necessity. Now I'm going to describe a scene. I don't know your name, but I know this story. Someone gets paid, pays the basics, and finally feels a little air. Then an invitation shows up, a night out, a celebration, a photo, an event, and in their head an alarm goes off. I can't go like this. I can't look like this. I can't say no. And out of nowhere, a purchase, clothes, an accessory, something small, then something else to complete it, then food, then transportation. And without realizing it, they spent the money that would have given them peace all week for a few hours of approval. That's the invisible leak. And it's deadly because it makes you feel good while it destroys your future. Do this today on This Is Strong. Write this sentence and put it where you can see it. I don't buy to impress. It sounds silly until you're about to spend and that sentence stops you. Then a practical step. Define your real level. Your real level isn't what you can pay once. It's what you can sustain without anxiety. I'll repeat it, without anxiety. Because if you pay it and you're shaking afterward, it wasn't your level. It was your ego playing with fire. And here's the part that's hard for many. Learning to say no. No to outings you can't sustain right now. No to purchases that are just image. No to cravings that steal your sleep. People think saying no is poverty. No, saying no is power. It's respect for your future. It's character. And let me drop another loop. In a moment I'm going to show you how to use money without becoming a slave to money. Because yes, you can build without losing yourself in the process. And that connects with God in a way almost nobody understands. But before that, do something with me. A quick visualization. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and your money no longer runs away. Not because you won the lottery. No, because you closed the appearance leak. What would your life look like in 3 months? Which debt would you reduce? What peace would your chest feel? How would you walk? That feeling, that peace, is worth more than anything you buy just to show off. And if this tip is hitting a sensitive place, if it makes you uncomfortable because you know it's true, write in the comments. Truth, just truth. Not to expose yourself, to commit to yourself. Because when you admit it, freedom begins. Now, yes, final principle. This ties everything together. There's another trap. Some people hear these ideas and go to the extreme. They become harsh, cold, saving machines. They obsess, and without realizing it, they trade one slavery for another. Solomon made something deep very clear. Money protects. Yes, it's useful. It's necessary. But loving money above your life leaves you empty inside. And that emptiness always leaks into your reality. God didn't give you life so you spend it counting money in fear. He gave you life so you use money as a tool to build, to care, to move forward, to live with meaning. Money shouldn't be your boss. You should be the one in charge. Do this today. Redefine why you want money, not how much why. Because when you know why, you stop buying on impulse. You stop borrowing for image. You stop chasing fantasies. You start choosing. And here's the final point I want tattooed in your mind. Your problem wasn't that money ran away. Your problem was that there were leaks, a debt that stole your freedom, a wasteful spending habit that numbed emotions, a laziness that stole your continuity, a divided focus that scattered you, a lack of clarity that left holes, money sitting still that kept you stuck, an appearance-driven life that drained you inside, and an obsession that could turn you into a slave. But now you've seen it, you've named it, and what gets named can be changed. Close your eyes for a moment and hear this as if it's only for you. Today can be the day your money stops running. Not because the world changed, because you changed, because you closed the leak. Now do this. Write this exact phrase in the comments, word for word. Today I closed the leak, and underneath it, write which one you'll close first. DEBT. Spending, laziness, focus, clarity, investment, appearance, or obsession. Just one. And I'm asking you for one more thing seriously. Share this with one person who keeps saying, I never have enough. Not to convince them, to save them months of anxiety. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because what's coming next is the practical part. Daily steps so your money stops running, even if you're not earning more yet. And if you want part 2, right? Part 2. If I see it in the comments, I'll make it.